Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Speedgaming Live 2023, Mega Man 1 through 6. Muting my other monitor here, I'm sorry, 46 Robot Master Tournament. Tonight's race is between Shadow and MelloFlowz. I'm Mr. Cab. We're going to say words about this race and have a good time tonight. And I'm just going to let them know they can get started so we can really get started with the festivities here. Mello has been a longtime Mega Man runner, great in the community. He's been improving his PB. He has gotten, I think, a 147 yesterday, but that has huge potential to improve, and we're going to look to see that today. His strategy coming in, as he said, didn't really practice much. He's feeling good about it. Shadow, just practicing now. New legend in this whole series, getting lots of great times everywhere. Has a 142 in the category. Looking to see great things. The winner moves on to the semifinals in this bracket. To just confirming this for myself. Play the winner of either Cyan Becco or Notorious. Just got an extra match in the background of that. Either way, our runners should be getting started shortly. They've both readied up. And it looks like they're off. Both runners no stranger to Mega Man 1, which is, of course, one of the clunkier games in this whole series. It's the first game they made, so not much to really be surprised about there. If you're not familiar with the series, Mega Man 1, of course, no slide, no rush, and actually, every time you get a drop, doesn't matter if it's going to give you something or not, it's going to stop your horizontal momentum. So every time, weapon drop with no weapon, life drop with full life, they're going to stop. We're in Cutman stage first, well, because it's faster. Mello missing that corner jump the first time, Shadow not even going to bother with it. So there is a glitch we will see in Elecman stage that helps us get the Magnet Beam, even though this category is only Beat the Robot Masters, no Wily stages. But the Magnet Beam is still an indispensable tool to going fast, even in the robots. So here we go. In Cutman stage, otherwise, just a lot of movement. A couple of the tricks of Mega Man 1 here, like Mello using the select button on that jump, just for a little locking the enemies in place while Mega Man moves with some iframes. Shadow eschewing the use of it. Picking up a couple of frames there, and it looks like we have our timers relatively in sync now. Thank you so much to the tech crew behind the scenes. As always. Mello just did it. Shadow's about to do it. A little screen wrap bug in Mega Man 1, grabbing the ladder at the bottom of the screen from over the top of the screen. Doesn't seem like an important trick. Not something you'll see quite at that level otherwise in this race, but behind the scenes, very key to some of the zip logic we'll see later on. Mello getting a large drop, very casually, not what you want to see for time. Shadow picking up probably another second there. We're talking about seconds here, 2 minutes into this, like, almost hour and 50-minute race. But, you know, you never know. Very simple, very efficient Cutman kills from both runners. Cutman taking a bunch of damage from the Buster, not really able to do anything with Mega Man, just shooting him a lot. This is Mega Man 1, so we do need to grab the orb at the end of the boss kills for everything to count. And Cutman used against Elecman. So Mello off the first screen with these. Mello, I know, does have a pretty strong time in Mega Man 1 for the full game. I'm not sure about Shadow's time. He's been keeping up so far, but it might be that Mello's just having a good game here. If this is Mello's game, able to break out and get ahead. Elecman is a notoriously vertical stage. We see runners here, just like every Mega Man game, doing what they can to get ahead of the ladders. You don't want to climb ladders. So Mello's going to go up the left side ladder here. So if he gets this corner jump on first try, beautiful. So Shadow's got to wait on those blocks, even though Shadow got on the screen about the same time as Mello. Now that is the difference here, about like 1.5 screens of movement. Mello getting knocked off the ladder again. Vertical stage, we're going to see things like that, and that just puts Shadow right back in it early. So we're getting close to the magnet beam zip. So there's a funny thing that's going to happen here. They're going to try and shoot and push down on this ladder at the same frame. They both get it on the first try, which is amazing. Inch out of this wall without soft locking, because if you walk in there, you do that. Mello goes out the top. Oh my goodness. Very nice. It's a little trickier to get out the top, a lot easier to get out the bottom. Shadow going out the bottom, having to climb up around. Mello getting some time back here. And you can already see them using these magnet beams to go to work. Although Shadow's movement otherwise has caught him right back up. So the magnet beam is pretty much exactly what you see. Mega Man fires a beam, you can walk on the beam. As long as you're holding B, Mega Man keeps that beam out there, and you know, just put it there. We're going to see just how broken this is probably in the very next stage, but for now, it's still extremely useful as just a platform. Shadow not liking that magnet beam setup and deciding to just climb the ladder. Both of them now out of magnet beam. Elecman himself, probably one of the most notoriously dangerous robot masters in Mega Man 1. You can see the difference here. Shadow opting to use the select glitch, pushing the select button, something that's unique to Mega Man 1, where the boss's iframes will run out while the game is paused, to kill Elecman with one shot. It's a little slower, though, I believe, than what Mello did, which is, you know, not pause the game and just kill Elecman. So they are neck and neck. It's beautiful. So Iceman stage, the obligatory game stage in an NES game that has ice physics. Also, this stage kind of notoriously laggy. There's a lot of very strange things that can happen in this stage. We're gonna see them kind of avoid the water just because the water here is a mess. It's slow. Don't walk in it. Kind of get over it. And now both of them are gonna go for a setup here. Look, Shadow looks like he's got it. Mello's got it too. They're gonna jump off through the screen transition. This is obviously not intended. So, Mr. Cab, what just happened there? So magnet beam, if you can kind of put it at the right height against the top of the screen, you can stand on it, you can jump into the space, and have Mega Man's head, I guess, against the bottom of the screen, and it creates a zip. And, well, zipping is good. There's a lot more to it than that. That's kind of my high-level understanding of what's going on there. You can also jump over the next screen transition, which is kind of weird too. You see that in a few spots, especially in the Wily stages, which are not part of this category. Shadow trying to get a couple of similar zips here in this boss corridor. Not able to get him, so Mello's right behind him. Elecman, probably the weapon a lot of people know the most for the select glitch, especially against the Yellow Devil Rock Monster boss of Wily 1 of this game. It works everywhere, so especially against Iceman, who is weak to the beam, go ahead and use it. So Fireman is another stage where we have a lot of zips. You know, pretty much this whole route is designed to get magnet beam fast so we can do these zips. So there's some slow setups. These runners are using the fast setup to get that beam in the wall, get through that wall fast. It saves probably on the order of 10 seconds, because I think the slow setup saves like 7 seconds. Fireman stage just kind of demonstrates the power of this magnet beam in a lot of ways. The unintended way is zipping, the probably somewhat intended way is going over these fire pits, and then here they are doing this, which skips the easy zip, but of course it's faster to just do that. We get fireballs coming out of nothing. So this next screen, you see that ladder at the bottom of the screen? That's going to help us. We're going to grab it at the top of the screen while standing here, and something weird's going to happen. This is the so-called long fire zip, Mellow with a very far distance on it. You need that beam on the bottom because there's no land there. You've got to be on something, and you have to jump before you get tossed into the lava lake. So very nice from both runners, that trick. I mean, if you can do it, it saves a ton of time. It probably saves a year. And if you can't do it, you get dunked and take a death, and you don't like that. There's Fireman down to Ice Slasher. Very easy, just using that select trick again. Goes down to the ice very fast. Question from chat, are the clear points a difference? Yes. Kind of a notorious part of Mega Man 1 RNG for saving those last few frames. You want those clear points to be very low. You want it down in the 50s so that it counts down as quickly as possible. Sometimes you see 100,000 points as the clear points for something like Cutman, and you're just like, nope, resetting and doing this right. Again, that's only frames, though. It doesn't affect the rest of the stage at all. Here, some pretty precise movement using the pause cancel, the knockback, and then just getting past the next, I guess, cluster bomb to just get through it without taking an extra hit. Freeze the Joe and keep going. We're coming up on another zip. Bomb zip is probably one of the easier ones to learn the slower setup for. Easier to execute than the long fire zip even when you get through. But you still have to do it, and both of these runners are likely to try to go for it. The slow setups for a lot of these that I keep talking about involve lining up Mega Man's toe on the ladder, and there it is. So we're seeing Mega Man's toe kind of even with a bar on this ladder. They're firing this beam, so it goes right under the score. Mellow in a little trouble here. Because Mega Man 1, you don't have iframes when you touch the spikes. They will still just kill you anyway. Mellow's looking for the spot. I think he's got it. So it looks like Shadow's opened a bit of a lead here, and he certainly has, but it's not nearly as bad as it looks just because of the sheer power of this bomb zip. Fireman's weapon, just also really easy to use this select glitch on. Works very efficiently. And here's Gutsman. Gutsman, sometimes, especially glitchless, is the first robot you're going to see because you need Guts otherwise to collect the magnet beam. And here's the sort of first part of Gutsman stage with these platforms. They go back and forth. They're really slow. And Shadow's doing a trick here to get all the way across. He's looking left first, and I think Mellow's going to do the same thing here. Because as soon as this beam hits a wall when Mega Man's holding it, it stops and Mega Man's forced to release it, and the timer starts running on it. If you ride those platforms out, there's not enough height on the screen to otherwise get the zip. Shadow all the way across now, doing this top of the screen zip again. You'll love to see it. Over all the Pikmin Hammer Brother type enemies. Mellow gonna go for it. He's got it. Nice corridor zip from Shadow. And now, here we are. We can joke about Power Stone and Water Wave and Charge Kick all we want later. Here's Hyper Bomb. Look at that thing go out there. Gutsman being very nice, not moving. We've got the grab. So if that thing takes forever to explode, and if Gutsman decides he doesn't want to stand still and eat it, this fight can get pretty hairy pretty fast. So let's see if Mellow gets lucky here. There we go. Didn't get the grab, but still with a fast kill. Very nice. GG to both runners on Mega Man 1. There is a 20-second delay mandated between games in this category, just to kind of give everybody a chance to breathe. Don't break your console while you're switching games. So everybody gets a chance to take a breather before going to Flashman stage. So Mello's on the US cart. I caught that, so he's probably playing on normal difficulty. The difficulty between normal, if you choose normal difficult or even Rockman 2, it's up to the runner for this category, just because, yes, you can save time on text or you could save time on kills. Shadow, I'd suspected it from the number of hits the so-called like kind of hairdryer cannon enemies were taking, but the tin can definitely confirms it. Shadow's playing Rockman 2, so differences really only boil down to damage. Mega Man's attacks will deal double damage to enemies on normal mode, although you also will see a lot more large drops on normal. Speaking of. So Shadow needs to hit Flashman, I believe, 14 times. Flashman jumps every time he's hit, so we use that to manipulate him into a lot of different ways. We know he's going to jump, so we jump after him to shoot him again. Not the perfect kill, but a very good kill. If you don't get flashed, it was a good day. Mello on normal only has to hit Flashman 7 times. Perfect. Of course, Shadow here, playing the Japanese edition of the game, gets some very fast text here. A lot shorter. Mello's going to lose a lot of time to that. So that's the trade-off. Mello's going to have a lot faster boss kills. A couple of enemies will go down easier. But Shadow's going to blaze a trail through the 3 weapon gets that take a long time with the messages from Dr. Light. Get your weapons ready, everybody. So runners going into Mega Man 2 have a choice. Are we going to go into Heatman stage, or are we going to go into Airman stage? It's a little faster to go to Heatman stage first, but a lot riskier. Both of them love the time save, it looks like. Shadow not quite able to land the item 3 jump there. It is a tricky one. So here's the first zip of Mega Man 2. They all largely work on the same principle. You want to be standing on these utility items and be pushed into the ceiling. Once you're up there, tap A, and then I believe it's, and this is true, 4 to 7 frames later, tap left, and you will zip. If you tap it too soon, you won't zip. If you tap it too late, you won't zip. So Shadow getting that fast. Mello did get the item 3 jump. Shadow's going to switch to Flash here to presumably freeze this mech in the air. So he's going to save. He's going to have to pause again to switch back to Buster. And he can't do that until the weapon actually runs out. But he also saves a lot of hit points. He doesn't get the knockback. Saving the hit points is not a terrible idea. Heatman does a truckload of damage if you get hit by that fire dash. We're going to see some fire dancing here, the heat dance. After hitting Heatman, he can decide to either wait 30, 60, or 90 frames before taking off. And there's the first hit. Like we were saying, it does a lot of damage. No real reason to stand there and do this heat dance outside of saving time, saving little bits of time. Because when you hit him, then Mello's going to stand farther away, eats that first hit early, not what you want to see. Okay. Jumping away from Heatman's usually pretty safe, but Heatman will dash to your actual position. So if you're close to Heatman, doesn't dash as far. Easy, you just save some time. Mello's staying further away at first, probably because he's on normal, so he only needs half the shots to get the kill, but also just to not take damage. You saw that one hit, a second hit would have killed him. And in Mega Man 2, 1-ups are perhaps a little more important than the other games, because we have some zips that require some death warping. So you have to keep an eye on that extra life count. Staying further away from Heatman is, of course, the significantly safer fight. But let's talk about why we went to Heatman first. Shadow using Flash here to get through the kind of, I don't even know what the air demon head things are. But here comes Fast Air. There goes Fast Air. So Mello with a big opportunity here to catch up, because Shadow doesn't have Flash. So Shadow has to either just tank this whole section, try and otherwise do it fast by landing on the very edges, or do something else. Mello going for Fast Air now here with the item 1s. So of course you can ride the Lightning Lord platforms, or you can decide to use item 1 and go through this. And Mello just crushed it. So Shadow with a little bit of a deficit after that. But again, lots and lots of Mega Man left. Shadow's going to go for the super jump here, I think? No? No, he's going to go for a jump. Going for 3 pauses. Okay. I don't blame him there. You don't want to take a second death on this screen. But he's across. Pausing in cross all of these games actually usually has a different result. And in Mega Man 2, when you unpause, Mega Man's fall velocity is reset. So you can kind of use that to your advantage to gain a little extra distance on these jumps. And Shadow decided to do that there for sure. Mello looked left, got the birds to spawn on the left side, so no more of the PP birds, as they're called, would spawn. Shadow's just charging forward, which actually I would almost think it would be reversed, because Mello's on normal, Shadow's on difficult. Shadow doesn't want the health. Mello with the easy airman kill, playing on the normal, easier difficulty. Only 7 hits. Shadow's coming in here. Airman can be tricky. So let's see if Shadow can do this. So we have a very low volume out of Mello, so we're going to switch it back to Shadow for now. Shadow with the sweet air kill. You, of course, can't shoot through the tornadoes, so hitting Airman sometimes can be a little tricky. That's why having that extra health in your back pocket, maybe that's just me being bad at video games, but I would have taken it. Anyway, this is the last extra scene from Dr. Light, so it's the last major time save that Shadow's going to get from that against Mello. Mello already in Crashman stage, though. So we're going to go for the screen 2 zip with Mello here. So this is where we see some of the longer, more complex zips. This one's probably the easiest of the don't just zip zips. And Shadow is going to go for Big E. No, he's going to go for the screen 2 zip. Not sure Shadow... No, Shadow does have it. Very nice. Very nice. So, Mega Man 2 is kind of weird, and we can talk about this more a little later with where you are on screen versus where the game thinks you are. Now, that's largely how that zip works. You get to a point where the game thinks Mega Man is past the checkpoint, eat a death by falling off the bottom of the screen where there's no screen below it, and the game just puts you at the checkpoint. Mello, meanwhile, at the vertical section of Mega Man 2. The Clash Crime? I forget what we're calling it these days. Point is, you want to use item 3, get up these ladders without getting hit by the birds. Mello getting hit by the birds. So Shadow with a little bit of time save to get here. Mello missing that last jump. It can be tricky sometimes to fire item 3 and climb up just enough to be able to land on it. And no more than that, because time on ladders is time wasted. He's in. Mello needs to land only 2 hits from the air shooter. Just going to fire it immediately to bait Crashman and jumping over. Shadow executing pretty much the same thing, needing that 3rd hit, but I believe it was Prissy who kind of got this setup going with the immediate fire so that that 2nd shot will get a double hit. It's almost guaranteed. So Shadow's out of there pretty fast. Mello over to Quick. So the one-up here at the start of Quickman stage is kind of famously the one-up that we say you should grab if you need an extra life in case you take a death later on. Shadow, having already taken a death, definitely grabbing it. Definitely needs it for the wood zip later. And into the quick laser section. Kind of a famous part of this game, one-hit kill lasers. But we're going to zip here. We're going to see how things work. Mel's going to pause in the middle of it to turn the lights on. I'm sure Shadow's going to do the same. So you can kind of see it here where you can see a screen that's not the screen they're actually on. It's the next screen. The game thinks they're on the screen that you see until the graphics reset. By kind of coming back here to the left, now Mello is on the screen. Shadow's in the dark. I love it. I love it. So you absolutely need flash to do this with the zip. Otherwise, the laser patterns are just unavoidable. They're actually unavoidable. So there is a potential for a zip here at the bottom. Mello is going to just take the walk. See Shadow also going to take the walk. Much more understandable for Shadow being in the shadows. Of course, this is a zip that can also result in a soft lock, so it might be a good idea to just not do it in a race anyway. Mello with the 4 crash bombs, taking out Quickman. Shadow needs 7. Quickman not cooperating, but Shadow baiting Quickman into the explosion. That does as much damage as the direct hits. So, good fight. Chat suggesting we fire magic missiles at the darkness. I think that joke's still valid. Anyway, we're in the Metal Man stage. Shadow's gonna go to Woodman stage. We have a little bit of a divergence here. Mello gonna go for the so-called the metal zip here, which is one of the longest single horizontal zips in the game. Also, probably one of the easier zips to set up in the game. If you're interested in Mega Man 2, please just start by learning bubble, heat, and metal zips. They're the easy 3. Don't do this zip though. This is silly. But Mello does nail it, which is good. We're gonna talk about Woodman stage when Mello gets there, but I'm gonna keep an eye on Shadow, who looks like he's going to skip this 3rd line. Love it. Mello through the item 2 section of Metal Man stage. You know, let's look at this good wood zip, because again, this is a complex beast of a zip to try and pick up. Because again, Mega Man is actually walking through later screens of the stage, even though we see this screen the whole time. This is like the magnet beam zip. You want to shoot and push down at the ladder at the same time. Quick Boomerang makes that easy. That is good wood. There's a whole lot going on there, and you kind of have to have the rest of the stage memorized. There's great tutorials out there, like the one from Duckfist. I know a lot of people are picking that up for the Big 20, so definitely check that out. You'll get a much more detailed and understandable explanation of what the heck is going on there. Because you are just kind of wandering through time and space out there, and if you do it wrong, you either respawn back at the checkpoint, or, believe this or not, Wily 3. And yeah, it's a bizarre mess of a zip. So again, Mello's going to use Flash here, the same as Shadow did. You need to get this sort of mini zip here, kind of jumping through into the ceiling and tapping left. Those 4 tiles make the difference between having to fight this last wolf and not. So now Mello, again, like I said, you can kind of see in the screen transition that something's wrong. Not this one. This one's fine. Well, you can see something's wrong there, because Mello is not in the zip position, so he's going to try again. You have, I believe, let's just say 10-frame window. That's not exactly right, but it's something about that to trigger this zip properly and get up to this top of the screen where Mello is. So there we go. So again, holding B, because with quick boomerang, you can just keep shooting by holding B. Pausing to reset the fall velocity so you continue zipping. And then just a few more tricks here to make the rest of it work. Speaking of holding B, Metal Man jumps when you press B. So you hold B going into the fight. There you go. He does eventually jump if nothing happens, so that on the difficult setting, which Rockman 2 is, he does eventually jump, whereas on the normal, easier difficulty, Metal Man's dead before he can move. So those two stages in the order, they really don't matter, kind of, especially the further you go into Woodman lore, the earlier you can actually put him in your boss order just to kind of be able to do a harder trick and reset faster, which leaves Bubble for last, which is a good idea for a race like this where time is when you defeat the Robot Master, because Bubble Man for some reason has an extremely long delay after defeating Bubble Man and actually teleporting out. So again, item 2 here at the start, just because it's nice and easy. Shadow making the hardest jump in the game, as we call it. And going right there into the zip. Beautiful. Mello also getting the hardest jump in the game. Ooh, spicy. Getting that item 1 placement to do the zip on the way down is... It's not that hard, but it's also very easy to miss, so shoutouts to both of them for making it. The end of this stage, nothing really exciting going on here. Just make sure you remember where the falling crabs are and don't get knocked down the waterfall. The so-called lag screen, just because a lot of streams get very pixelated, and I think MelloFlowz is here as you go along. Metal Blade, the great weapon everybody remembers that can be fired in 8 directions. And here's Bubble Man, the only Robot Master, the only time we're going to take it out in this entire race. So easy kill for Shadow, easier kill for Mello coming up, I'm sure. At least I hope so. Don't jump into the spikes. That time save only works in any % races. And that's Mega Man 2, everybody. So again, we have... I'm sorry. Again, we have a Robot Master order decision routing to take. Top is the record route at this point. Magnet, kind of popular for being not that difficult, kind of easy. Gemini, the classic at this point. Still a very valid route, but probably one of the more difficult ones to pick up. Shadow did say coming into the tournament, well, coming into last night, honestly, just in stream chats, that Mega Man 3 was the game he was practicing, so we'll see how things go. Mello going to top first. A mash-heavy stage. So their routes are going to be completely different for the first 6-some-odd robots of this game. Shadow nailing the zip there, though. That's the Mega Man 3 zip, so good job. We got it. So, Gemini, you have this early part of the stage with the tadpoles. There can only be 3 on the screen, so a lot of movement is based around that fact. We're going to get 3 tadpoles on the screen and then blow up more eggs so that they don't spawn tadpoles. Shadow's going to skip the health here. Shadow does not have the option of calling 1-800-RUSH-MARINE and has to go through these one-tile blocks. Shadow, just based on his times in a lot of games, I'm sure is going for some of these slides. Doesn't want the E-Tank. So a factor of the Mega Man 3 slides, you can't slide for the first... Oh, you can't jump out of a slide the first 8 frames of your slide. So doing any sort of slide on a single tile block is risky. Okay, Shadow did grab that second E-Tank and immediately uses it. That is not a bad move at all. Mello here against Top Man. Fairly simple fight. Gemini Man, the more complicated fight. Every time you push B, Gemini Man's going to shoot. So you want to do that. Don't soft lock. Don't soft lock. You can soft lock against Gemini Man. It's hard to do, but if you're mashing B, you can do it. Second half of that fight is every time you push B, Gemini Man's going to jump, so just make sure you make him jump when you're ready for it. Shadow with a really nice Gemini Man kill, honestly. Demolishing the twins before they have a chance to do anything. So Mello is starting Shadow Man. We didn't even talk about the music cancel there in Gemini Man stage. As Mega Man 3 is notoriously laggy as a game. It's potentially even crafted from lag, as I like to say. So pretty much everything you do in this game can cause lag, including letting the music play. Not going to see any more music cancels in this category, but it is a thing in the main game. Needle, on the other hand, a very kind of fast stage, unlike Shadow Man, which also shows off just how laggy this game can get. Not really much going on in Needle Man stage, honestly. Just avoid the needles, make sure you get the shots. Mello going through the dark room of Shadow Man stage. It's actually a really fun screen. It's a very long screen, and you can save or lose a lot of time based on how much of it you know, since you are moving in the dark. Mello on the parachute, I believe that's the name of this enemy screen, which, again, like these enemies, very easy to just get knocked into the abyss. So using top spin, which is a actually very strong weapon if you know how to use it, and just getting through there properly. Shadow, no! Somebody call Nadua. Okay, we did it. Mello using top spin on Shadow. The trick with top spin is every time you hit an enemy, it will drain top spin. And if you have iframes, if you're invincible and you're trying to hit top spin while hit Shadow Man while Shadow Man's invincible, you won't be able to hit him, but you'll still be draining energy, and that's how you end up running out of energy a lot in that fight. If you use it judiciously, you should be able to get through it every time without a big problem. Anyway, Shadow Man is done with Needle Man, so Shadow Man's done with Needle Man? Oh my goodness. So Shadow has Rush Jet now. We're going to go to Spark now in the Gemini route, since Spark has a soft weakness to Needle. This is not a Mega Man game where there's a full cycle of 8 robots and they just kind of loop around in the weaknesses. This is a set of 5 and a set of 3. So at some point you have to fight a second robot with Buster or with something. Shadow is going to fight Spark with Needle to break into the other loop of 5. Mello is going to fight Gemini with Shadow to break into the other loop of 3. So while Mello does a lot of the same things that Shadow did earlier, just getting onto Rush Coil a little bit later, Shadow into the new frontier of Sparkman at the end of the stage. There's some blocks here. They cause lag. Remember, Mega Man 3 created from pure undistilled lag, so there's several chunks of it left over we can blow up. This screen looks terrifying. It is as easy as Shadow's making it look. This is... Oh no. I owe Shadow an apology, don't I? Mello going to coil to get a few slides in and then switch over to 1-800 Rush Marine. Don't actually call that number. We have no idea what it goes to. Shadow is... This screen is as easy as Shadow's making it look. Okay, he made it through that time. Of course, the second best strat is to just use Rush Jet. Mello makes the jump. I don't know if he would have survived a hit there, so... Mello's through. Didn't get the E-Tank, the second E-Tank at least. Shadow making short work of Sparkman. Mello... Okay, he should be good now. Making short work of Gemini Man. I was trying to say earlier that last long screen of Sparkman is a good example of a screen where knowing the speed strat is actually very easy to implement, just kind of playing the game without speedrun techniques otherwise. It's very much just the easiest way through that mess, and Rush Jet is probably your next best bet. So, armed with Gemini Laser, Mello also going to Needleman now because Rush Jet is Rush Jet. Mega Man 3 having probably one of the most powerful Rush Jets across the series. Also the first Rush Jet. Shadow into Magnet Man. Get your faster nets in chat. So Magnet Man is a extremely viable first choice for a Robot Master in this game. It probably takes the most mashing out of the game out of any of the routes, but it also means you have to go through the disappearing Yoku block section without Rush Jet. Both of our runners here are going to have Rush Jet when they get to this next screen at the checkpoint. And, well, obviously when you're just Rush Jetting over these, it looks a lot different than if you're not. Mello missing a Gemini Laser, also created from pure lag. It's actually 3 sprites, so whenever it's on the screen, just you can actually feel your life slowing down as the Gemini Laser bounces around. Mello once again reaching a boss room with basically no hit points. Shadow switching to the Spark Shot. Spark and Shadow both do a lot of damage to Magnet. Shadow Blade lets you shoot straight up, though, which sometimes makes it a little bit of a better option when Magnet Man decides to get attracted to the ceiling. Mello does not summon Cries of Nadua. He takes out Needleman without the laser bouncing around. Pretty even here. Shadow still has... We got Hard, Top, Shadow, and Snake left. Mello going into Snake. Kind of an interesting choice to me, but sometimes the order of these games, when you have choices that don't matter per se, because you're not going to use Snake in any stage, you're not going to use Hard in any stages outside of the Robot Masters they're weak to, you end up with kind of menuing decisions. And I can't claim to be perfectly familiar with all of them. But they're both in rush stages. Mello is in Rush Jet the stage, because we're just going to use Rush Jet and jump over a whole lot of things. Hardman is kind of Rush Coil the stage most of the time. Shadow is going to, rather than kill the monkeys, use Spark Shot. Actually seeing Spark Shot in action is a rarity, so everybody gets a treat today. It, outside of a couple of bosses, does no damage. It just freezes things in place, so using it to escape the monkeys, not a bad move at all. So Shadow has the free Hardman E-Tank. Yes. Usually, yeah, Hardman, you see a lot of Rush Jet on the screen. Mello's scaring me with that jump. We haven't talked about Proto Man at all. I think it's 28 Buster Shots and just get out of here. We haven't talked about a few things about like the evolution of the series. Like Mega Man 3, all of a sudden we're sliding around. The first 2 games we were not. Obviously, Mega Man 3 introducing the slide as well, along with Rush. Here's the Hardman fight. So you want to actually get, I'm going to say, pile-drivered by Hardman. The headbutt locks the screen, freezes everything in place briefly. But if you get hit by both phases of it, Mega Man breaks out of being frozen, and you can just keep hitting him. So it's always good to get to Hardman with a lot of health. Mello going to Snake here actually deprived us of having them both in the same stage at the same time. Now I'm sad. But Shadow on to Top Man. Mello probably going to Hard at this point. No, going to Magnet. I forgot that Mello still hasn't gone into Magnet Man stage. I'm getting confused watching 2 runners at the same time. So Mello just got taken out by that Magnet. So the strat there, these magnets flying overhead, obviously it kind of pick you up, but if you're sliding, they don't. So the idea with that last magnet is to be in a position where you can slide under the attraction and then still jump. He obviously missed the jump. Shadow in top man stage, with which Mello has completed long ago at this point, but is armed with a lot more weapons than just the Buster. So we get to see magnets taking out the cats. Now Mello gets to work Shadow Blade through a lot of the stage, does a little extra damage to Proto Man. Not strictly required for anything, but certainly a lot more fun to use. Shadow is broken out the hard knuckle, which is top man's weakness. Only need to hit him 4 times with it. No Buster dances to try and reduce the number of cycles. Excellent kill. Mello just getting through these screens. Do want to shout out Shadow, shouting out the Baron Haynes for the Sparkman strat back in Hardman stage. I knew somebody came up with that at some point, and I think it was even in the vein of something to do with Spark Shot, because it was otherwise a wasted weapon. And it does work pretty well. There's Mello, as mentioned earlier, with Shadow Blade. You get to aim up at Magnet Man, and there it is. Slightly faster kill for Mello in that room. So I don't think we have any Robot Masters left that we haven't seen yet. Just strats we haven't seen. Shadow in Shadow. Shadowception. Just mashing down Proto Man here. Now, here's that long dark room I was talking about a little bit earlier. You can see the lights coming on. That lags the game. You can see these enemies. That lags the game. You see the explosion? Lags the game. See that water in the background? Probably lags the game. Music? Lagging the game. So the faster you get through the screen, the more you know where to jump, where to make those slide jumps and get long jumps across everything, the better. Mello, I believe, just used Shadow to take out the bees in the first screen of Hardman stage rather than magnets. Which is, again, just strats that are different and possible based on what we have. Shadow got a drop. Oh my god, that jump was terrifying. So the faster you get through that room, obviously, this is a race. But those parachutes, whether by hitting you or just by putting a drop in your way so that you have the refill instead of just jumping clean through it, it's terrifying. A Shadow jumped from the left edge of one of those platforms without a slide or anything and somehow found a foothold on the next platform. Does it lag the game, or does it give it an excuse to listen to the banger some more of the soundtrack some more? Probably a little bit of both, but the other speedrun strat that definitely works later on in this game is canceling the music in Dock Shadow to reduce the music and reduce the lag. So, yeah. For my money, Snake Man has the best music in this game, probably in this entire race. So enjoy that. Mello fighting Hardman doesn't really have a lot of health, so you get to see that screen lock up there. So there's a time save for Shadow over Mello. So Shadow here, again, rush jet the stage because you can jump over those mid-bosses. You saw there on the last screen, actually, another little-known strat outside of the community. If you are sliding and you push start, it will despawn rush jet, or really any rush coil, whatever else you might have. Again, why would you do that? Because rush lags the game. Here's the second mid-boss, just so you can kind of focus on it for a second. Rush jet, just fly right over its head. A couple things going on here. You jump off of Rush because jumping off Rush means you're not draining energy. And when Mega Man's off the screen, the game doesn't have to draw Mega Man. Mega Man lags the game. You see a pattern forming here. It's Mello trying to solidify the time save at the end of Sparkman. working through this with magnets, whereas Shadow only had needles and Gemini lasers to work with. Shadow jumping off the top of the screen. Already explained why. Lags the game. Mello falling into a pit. Doesn't lag the game to die, just loses a lot of time. Again, sliding near an edge, a bad idea in this game. That little section there can trip people up a little bit. That's just an unfortunate time loss. Shadow, I believe that's 8 robots now, finally. And there's the switch. Shadow is on to Mega Man 4. I am running out of Pepsi as this race goes on. So there's a decision here, and yeah, Shadow goes Brightman first. Your options are to go and get Pharaoh and Balloon first, which gives you a Pharaoh shot, a little more efficiency on a lot of things, and a slightly faster Brightman kill, or to take Brightman's Flash Stopper first. Yes, it's the Flash Stopper, and have a little bit of an easier time in Pharaoh Man stage, even if you don't use it on the boss. You have these grasshoppers, they can jump slow, they can jump short, jump far. Shadow taking advantage of the shot during the short pattern there to slide across the spikes and try and take some time back. Mello getting into the Sparkman fight, and with Shadow Blade should have no problem here. So, new in Mega Man 4 compared to the first 3 games of the series, you probably already noticed it. We have a charge shot all of a sudden. Mega Buster that has that half charge with a little more volume to it. There's another slide on the spikes. Still does 1 damage. We have the full charge, that little dart across the screen that does 3 points of damage to a whole lot of things, including Robot Masters. Of course, charging the Buster too much probably lags the game. Okay, that joke's over. Mello also going Bright first. So, this room in Bright, he's going to walk on the edge of that platform. That automatically pops him up to the next platform. Little mini, I guess, zip there. You can't walk off the edge of these platforms while they're moving to the right, so it's very nice to be able to just walk on the right edge, get as far as you can over. If you're ever caught walking on the left edge and you can't walk forward, slide. So here's Brightman. Robot Masters in the NES series have 28 hit points, so does Mega Man. And as I explained earlier, the full charge shot does 3. Brightman will use the Flash Stopper only if he has 16, 8, or 4 hit points left. If you're a math nerd out there like me, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, how does that work out? If you do 1 point of damage and put Brightman on our favorite, the 3 times table, you'll never hit 16, 8, or 4. So just 1 uncharged shot somewhere in this fight, whether you're using Pharaoh or the Buster. And charge shots for the rest, and you'll be safe. Mello on this last screen here, using the full charge shot just to get a little extra width to the shot. Take out whatever that turn off the light enemy is. You love it. So this screen, usually, that's Shadow's on, usually has a lot of scorpions. We obviously have the quicksand. It's a little painful. The scorpions digging out of the sand also generates a lot of lag. So using the Flash Stopper here, very nice. Lets us get through it. And the balloon adapter, useful for a couple of stages, even in this category. Much more useful when you're playing full game categories. And as far as Pharaoh Man, the stage itself goes, it's roughly the same amount of time whether you get balloon or not. Good bright kill from Pharaoh. Good bright from Mello. Some Shadow doing some lag reduction tracks here. Mello does get the pixel. I'm pretty sure Shadow did too. I wasn't even thinking about describing it. If you get centered in like perfectly after the Robot Master gets killed in 4, Mega Man will just not even do the jump part of the animation. Just kind of go straight to the middle of the screen. And that saves about a second every time it happens. So in this category, that should be 7 times. So it's something to look for. here's Pharaoh Man. Pharaoh Man's a jerk who jumps around the screen a lot. Pharaoh Man, though, is the only robot master in this game that does less than 8 points of damage if you get bodied, so contact damage. Pharaoh Man, more likely to use the Pharaoh shot and just kind of stand there and eat your hits if you are close to him. So, don't be afraid of Pharaoh Man. Get in front of him like a bear. Shadow with the quick animation. You love it. So he wasn't just on the right pixel to skip there. He was also in the air. I forget exactly how it works, but it's only possible in Pharaoh and Dive to be in the middle of the screen at the right moment. On the right conditions, you save even more time. Again, not too much, but time save is time save. And it's free to go for. Shadow into ring. This is one of the stages where Balloon will get used heavily. Have this early vertical section. Balloon very much like item 1, and you just saw Shadow use in the wall where you have about 16 frames before the balloon completely despawns to jump off of it again. Mello eating an unfortunate death there, just missing one of those jumps on like the last screen of the game and of the stage, and these kind of floating platforms are really slow. It's very easy in Pharaoh Man's stage to be trying to push it, trying to get some time back, and just miss. So we'll see if Mello handles it differently the next time through. Shadow getting a Pharaoh weapon drop there. Not good as far as like time goes. Good for safety though. Ringman is a stage that is very much routed out so that you use almost all of your hit points and all of your ammo. Mello again trying to rush that last kind of transition there. So I think that's actually the last pit in the stage. And just not able to get it. Shadow handling this last really long screen of ring very nicely, taking out all the extra enemies. Again, enemies causing lag. Let's kill them. Damage boosting right through the last. I think that enemy is a Whopper, the ring mini boss. 8 hit points if you get bodied by it, but you can go through it. So here's Ringman. So we're going to fire this Pharaoh shot immediately, slide under there, hit him with that overhead. We still have the full charge. Hit him with it again. Oh my goodness. There you go. Pharaoh as a weapon's actually amazingly good, since you have that shot over your head. That orb can do damage to enemies, and it won't use any ammo when you then fire that full charge that you still have. So it's faster than charging the Mega Buster twice, and it's very efficient at doing a lot of damage. It's almost a backup for a whole lot of things. So Mello finally through to Pharaoh Man, taking him out. So Mello at this point a whole stage behind. We'll see how things go from here. Shadow opting to use Bright in Dust, which is the sane choice. Pharaoh, I believe, saves a second or two, but is significantly more difficult to actually achieve that time save since all the enemies are moving. We haven't talked about Bright yet. We'll talk about Bright more, Flash Stopper as a weapon in Skullman stage, but this is, no joke, this room is the lag room. Just with those blocks appearing and with those ladybugs in the air. There's just a lot of things slowing down the game. You kind of have to just deal with it. And one of the reasons to use Pharaoh is to kill more of those enemies, reducing lag. But again, significantly more risky strat to do that. So Shadow's going to not go for it. Again, there's a lot of things that you can do that are pretty risky in that room. To speed things up, he kind of sacrificed a cycle there for the knowledge that he would make it. I'm not sure if he's watching the race and knows that he has a lead to hold on to and that he can decide to do things like that, or if he's just in a race and doesn't want to do anything crazy. Either way, he's through. Actually, we know he's in chat, so he's probably watching the stream. This not a randomizer race, so that is perfectly legal. Dust Man sucks. You've already seen it twice. Dustman has an attack where he kind of turns on the vacuum on his head, pulls Mega Man in. You can't hurt him while he's sucking. And the only way to make it end that pattern faster is to just get hit. And again, Robot Masters not named Pharaoh Man in this game do 8 points of contact damage. Mega Man only has 28 hit points total, so that hurts. Shadow with enough hit points there to actually take 2 hits to speed things up, which is good. That's what you want to be able to do. You just kind of hope you don't have to do it. So here is Skullman stage, which has really good music and the one zip of this game. So by Mega Man 4, as we like to joke that Capcom finally figured out, oh, we should really do something about these zips. So if Mega Man's caught in the wall, the game says you're crushed and blows him up. But it doesn't happen if Mega Man has iframes. So Balloon, if you slide against the ceiling, and you can try this at home, it will just crush Mega Man. He won't be able to get up. But if you get hit by that enemy at the right time, yeah, you just zip. From there, using Balloon, especially in these like little vertical screens and a couple of other spots, you can save little chunks of time. If you don't have Balloon, you just use Bright the whole stage. So I said we'd talk about Bright and the Flash Stopper here. The Flash Stopper, when used, locks enemies in place for about 5 seconds, and you can fire lemons while it's on. You may notice that these screens are going on a little more than 5 seconds, and we're not using Flash a second time, and the enemies don't start moving again. Whenever Mega Man's in a slide, for some reason, those 5 seconds don't run. So you can just slide across entire screens, and it's beautiful. Mello's scaring me with this lag room, but he's getting through. The Skullman fight is 100% predictable, except for the duration of that shield attack. That's the one piece of RNG that's in there. Otherwise, Skullman only reacts to what you do. If you do nothing, Skullman will do nothing. Just stand there. Just walk into the room, go get a snack. Skullman will wait for you. MelloFlowz doing the strat there. That looks a lot scarier than it actually is, but it's still scary. If you walk towards Skullman, Skullman will shoot at you. If you fire at Skullman, Skullman will jump at you. Skullman will not do the same thing more than twice in a row. Please talk to your doctor and find out if Skullman is right for you. Mello not able to chain slides together perfectly. That's I think like a frame perfect trick to get underneath that short hop. So starting with Skullman stage, especially the second half, Mega Man 4 kind of becomes Flash Stopper, the video game, for the last 4 Robot Masters. Dive Man, no difference here. So like we said, as long as you're sliding, that timer doesn't run, and you can just kind of keep going. Got a mini boss in your way? Just flash him. If you're really good, you can freeze the whale at the top of the screen as it's beaming in and kill him in 1 jump. Waiting for the whale to come down low and killing him in 2 jumps, a very acceptable plan B. One more note here, starting with Mega Man 4. We can't jump out of slides underwater. Don't know why. It just can't happen. I believe officially it's if there's a foreground tile and water counts as such, you can't do it. But so are ladders and a few other things. Water's just the thing everybody knows to look for. Shadow successfully not collecting wire. So, besides being a little careful about where we slide so that we don't accidentally slide off a ledge because we can't jump, Shadow's now at the end. He's switching to Skull Barrier. Kind of an efficient, powerful shield weapon. You can't shoot it, but it's only 2 points of ammo to use it. Dive Man, also a manipulatable Robot Master. Always opens with that tornado attack, which I guess is drilling across the screen. He's out of ammo. Dust is the soft weakness. Good job. He's going to go for it here. Didn't get the second animation skip, but that's fine. He was centered. Anyway. Dive Man will always open with that sort of corkscrew attack. If you're close to him, he'll continue using it. Dive Man won't do the same thing 3 times in a row, and that's why you see that one missile in the middle. So a lot of the fight becomes just knowing where he's going to go and being able to hit him with the skull barriers as you do it. Anyway, knowing that also makes the Buster fight for Dive not terribly difficult. So into Drillman stage, who, despite the fact that Diveman drills across the screen, Drillman dives under the screen. I don't know who's naming these robots, but Shadow's using Flash early. This is another stage you use Flash the whole time, just to kind of freeze enemies. You do have to take a couple of hits on those bat screens, but otherwise it's okay. This next screen you also have to manipulate it properly or use it at the right time so the cans are open. The last screen of Drill is probably the #1 example of this Flash stopper continuing based on your sliding ability. If you are the world record holder, or if you're close to it, that's the one Flash you have to use. If you're not the world record holder, or if you're, bad like Mr. Cad, then right around there, just like Shadow did, you'll use the Flash stopper a second time. Again, it's not actually being bad at the stage, it's just an actual measure of sliding efficiency. That's a musical cue, and that's when we know Drillman's going to pop out of the ground, because he always opens by diving. So, dive missiles like to kind of go their own way. They might hit Drill fast, they might not. Hopping into the air, dive missiles have a tendency to angle down. So if you just kind of hop up a little bit, that usually helps the dive missile kind of reach its target properly. No dives, though, and that's exactly what Shadow wanted to see, so that's good. Mello successfully does not get the wire. Question out there in chat for what is a soft weakness, just in case I'm saying that too much and people don't know what I'm talking about. Robot Masters obviously have their weaknesses. They have their things that they take lots and lots of damage to. Usually, Robot Masters have a second weapon that will do more damage than just Buster shots. So we refer to that usually as the soft weakness. It's the Plan B attack, whether it's Needle on Spark or Dust on Dive. So Shadow's in Toadman stage. That rain is not going to the left just for show. Mega Man actually gets pushed to the left in jumps. So that first screen's actually difficult. Toadman, somewhat famously, back in the day, the Nintendo Power Game Pro era, was... everybody knew Toadman, ridiculously easy Robot Master to fight. We should go fight Toadman first and get his weapon. But this stage is a mess. Again, that water counts as those foreground tiles. That snail, that's a mini-boss. Goodbye, mini-boss. It's like the Mega Man 3 mini-bosses. It's also like the Ringman mini-bosses, I guess. We just skip them. Shadow successfully skipping the last snail. That water flowing down on the right side of that platform is a pit, so it's a little risky there. Not that hard, obviously, but, it's a concern, for sure. So here's Toadman. Toadman has a screen-wide attack. It's devastating. You can't dodge it. All you have to do is not stop shooting him. Drill Bomb's a very effective weakness there. Mello in Drillman stage. Trying to finish strong here and keep Shadow honest. So again, this is the long screen. How good is Mello's sliding? And there we go. Same spot. That's the spot where everybody has to use it again. Thank you, Chelmy. Mega Man 4 came out in 91. Now we know which era we're talking about. So, on to Mega Man 5 and so-called Star TA. The last few games, we've been talking about which Robot Master we're going to first. Mega Man 5, famously, the one NES game where, at least in speedrunning circles, There is absolutely no debate over where you go first, and it is Starman. We are here in the low gravity stage to get a hold of the super arrow from Starman, which is just the best utility item perhaps of all time. And we'll see why really in every single stage. Mega Man 5, unlike Mega Man 4, if we get hit, we lose our charge shot, so be careful with that thing. But that charge shot is huge. It looks like, first of all, it actually is bigger. We can joke about it taking up literally like the entire screen. It's not actually that huge. But it is so much bigger and easier to hit things with than in Mega Man 4, and it still does 3 points of damage. Here's Starman. He has a shield. We don't care. You can get close to Starman and just shoot through the shield, as long as that buster shot kind of spawns on the other side of it. And that's what we're going to do. Good kill. Shadow getting the so-called gravity skip, because usually the low gravity is still there, but if you mash A, and I don't know what exactly happens inside the game's logic, but sometimes it forgets to apply it there. Mello showing why that waterfall screen is just a pain. Missing a jump there. Again, Toadman stage, actually quite difficult. Shadow into Gravity Man stage. One of my favorite stages, honestly, just because you get the gravity flipping mechanics. And immediately, though, we get to see this so-called super arrow. It costs 2 air ammo to fire, and if you decide to ride it, it costs, I think it's 1 point of ammo every frame, maybe every 2 frames you're on it. But it goes really, really fast. So you're going to see a few times, like Shadow did right there, standing on the edge of the arrow, walking off the edge. It lags the game a little bit to do that, but it also saves ammo. And there are a few situations where the actual amount of ammo left with that, because you only need 1 to fire it, even though it takes 2 points off the meter. Super Arrow is just way too good to just ride across screens. It's much faster than any rush jet ever. So we're going to see that a lot, because go figure, this is a race we want to go fast. So here's Gravity Man, another Robot Master weak to a shield weapon, although we can fire this one across the screen. And there is a so-called half-task strat for Gravity Man, where you can kind of fire a Star Crash, I think is its official name, across the screen, and have it connect just like hours later. But doesn't lose a lot of time to go for the quote-unquote normal kill there. MelloFlowz, meanwhile, out of Drill Man stage, out of Mega Man 4, joining us in Star TA territory. So here he goes. Gyro Man, still my least favorite stage ever. But that's just me. We're going to immediately see some neat super arrow tricks. Jumping through the screen transition to put this arrow at the top of the screen. The little hop and running off the edge, again, is to save this 1 tick of ammo so that we can make that jump. That's the only reason to save it, and to do all that other stuff. And again, getting up top, using 1 last arrow to kill the little telly blimp enemy, whatever it is. And, you know, just completely ignore those giant messes of screens. So Shadow's about to hit our checkpoint while Mello is in the home stretch of Starman stage. Having a good Starman stage. You love to see it. That K looks a little funny down there. The beat letter is, of course, very useful to a lot of players and most speedruns. We don't need beat in 46 robots as a category, so don't have to stand around and get them. That's one of the little things in this category. We don't need the beat letters, so we can kind of skip entire sections of stages that have them. We don't have to see them. No reason I'm mentioning that right now for sure. Mega Man 5 reference. Mello also getting the gravity skip against Starman. So moving right along. Gyro Man, weak to the gravity hold, which is a full screen attack. There's really not much more to say about that fight. The biggest thing, like every sort of exact ammo fight, is make sure you don't waste a shot. Otherwise, you have to figure out how to recover from wasting that shot. So good job. So Mello, as he starts Gravity Man stage, one other bizarre thing about Mega Man 5 is the enemies have iframes. Normal enemies, if you hit them, can't be hit again for like another handful of frames, whatever it is. The point is, it makes pure mashing and turbo controllers for this game like slightly unreliable. You just have to kind of know what you're getting into. Anyway, Shadow here actually setting up a bizarre zip. Let's see if he gets it. And we'll explain what just happened. So there's no bouncing head on the second thing there. What actually just happened is the game tried to put a whole bunch of sprites on the screen at once because Mega Man exploded. So there's all those little bubbles. And I believe what's actually happening is somewhere at the end of the array of sprites on the screen is the chunks of memory that control Mega Man's X position and how long it takes to respawn after a death. And we just put a really big number in the X position that goes way past the end of the stage, and a really big number, but not that big a number, in the respawn counter. So the game thinks Mega Man is somewhere way past the boss corridor, and will eventually respawn him after a death in the boss corridor. And that's still faster than completing the stage. So that was Crystal Man stage, everybody. I hope you didn't blink. Jumping into the crystals here because the crystals lag the game. Hey! Gyro is actually a very nice utility weapon. You can tap up or down to fire it up or down. It gets a lot of use if you actually play Crystal Man stage. And if not, that's the only place you see it. At least until castle stages. Mello into Gyro. Is that arrow a little low? I think he's okay. And he saved the point of ammo. Very nice. Very nice. Mello getting the second screen too. Very good. So Shadow into Napalm Man stage. These tigers, kind of like Metal Man. Remember when we were talking about Metal Man and pressing B? The tigers jump when you press B. So they can be manipulated to either jump or not jump at your discretion. I believe if you get very close to them, they will eventually jump at you. Shadow getting through the sort of mining spike digger screen. Those do count as spikes that will just kill you, so you have to be a little careful there. Mello pushing, making the jump. That was a little scary. Shadow using even more super arrow, but not quite getting off the top of that screen. Doesn't want to use it on the ladder here because he wants it on this screen. See, these are enemies that the game expects you to kind of stand there and fight on the spike platforms and everything else. Whether you're using Rush Jet or the Super Arrow, just don't fight those enemies. Just go past them. It's fine. Shadow's going to use gravity strats at the end of this stage. It's gravity again, full screen attack, just like Mello's about to use on Gyro Man. Works very well on a lot of these enemies. You can switch immediately to Crystal and go for the, I think, slightly faster strats, but much more difficult strats, and save yourself a menu. But gravity just infinitely more easy to use. So here's Napalm. Napalm, if you're far away from Napalm, I don't know how to define far away, he will fire 3 shots across the screen like that. If you're very close to Napalm, he will lob 2 very slow, laggy grenades into the air. We don't like laggy attacks, so we stay far away from him. So Shadow maintaining that 2-stage lead on Mello, going into Stone Man stage. Mello also at this point with the opportunity to set up the crystal zip himself. We call it the script. It's this crystal skip, I should say. There's not really much of a zip going on here. You just need to have 3 or fewer hit points so that those things will kill you. Stone Man stage opens up pretty tame. Skipping the letter on the right of this screen that Shadow just got through with the ladders. Okay, Mello's got it. I think Mello's got it. Shadow switching to Super Arrow. Stone is a stage that has a lot of opportunity to use Super Arrow. I think it uses Super Arrow and Jet. One of the few stages that actually uses both. Mello waiting to find out if he's still got it. Shadow flying over the screen. This screen's another mess. This is like that one in Gyro you fly over. There's just pits and shield enemies, and what are we going to do? Or you just go over the whole thing, and then immediately go to Jet to fly over more things. Of course Mello's got it. It's the Crystal Man boss quarter. Let's go. Even that last little jump off of Rush Jet to save a little bit of ladder climbing. Switching straight to Napalm. This is another screen. You have some options for what to use. But Napalm, just saving the times you have to go to the menu to switch to a weapon. Like, say, the boss's weakness. Always a good idea. I honestly don't know how to define Happy Stone. I just know Stone Man smiles. Shadow's out of there. Mello. You know, I'm forgetting this now for a couple of spots. Mega Man 5 has one other weird quirk to the Buster. If you are in the act of sliding, the charge level of the Buster does not increase. So if you just slide across the screen like you don't want the flash stopper to run out in Mega Man 4, you will never charge your Buster in Mega Man 5. It just won't work. Weird. So sometimes you will see players that opt to not slide specifically to build up a charge. So Shadow getting the first arrow. I think that's a little low. Yeah. You can kind of tell by the background on the screen, like which of the metal bars are you flying along. So, slight opportunity for Mello to make back some time here later on. I don't think it's 2 stages worth of time, but certainly is a positive amount of time. This is the legendary chicken room. I don't see any mentions of who to dedicate this to in chat, so I'm forced to dedicate this chicken room to BJW. We hope he's watching. Crystal Eye used here just because it does a little extra damage, has a bigger hit box than normal lemon shots. We were waiting there, and you saw that turn back from Shadow, because if you do see a weapon drop near the end of that room, or even from that first little train met, there is a super arrow that you can fire on this screen to save lots and lots of time again, but you're reliant on RNG drops to get it. So Mello done with Napalm Man. Shadow into Charge Man. Again, Hyper Bomb, the worst weapon, but welcome to Power Stone. It lags the game. You can't fire it again for a little bit until that last stone gets off the screen. That's why you see these pauses to cancel the entire shot. That one just straight up missed. Power Stone is technically a weapon in the Mega Man series, but now we can forget about it until the next race. So again, Mello with a little chance to make up some time there. he can keep up the pressure in the Charge Man stage. You know, you got to look, especially because we're starting to run out of Mega Man to play. There's less than 10 robots left. That is a spot. You can save, you know, double-digit seconds. Probably not that many, but it's seconds. Wave Man. I'm told there's more to Charge Kick than this screen. I still don't buy it. I don't like Charge Kick. You slide slower. Yes, you can slide through gas jets. It's kind of nice. It's kind of a really awkward weapon. But we're really here in Wave Man stage to see how the bubble skip goes. There's this screen coming up with these bubbles. Why is Mello laughing? I'm not sure. And Shadow's got it. Very nice. These small bubbles like to pop immediately. That's why Mello's laughing. Oh, that's right. Shadow was practicing, and he did go for the boat skip. So what was I saying? The bubbles, the small bubbles pop fast. They're not meant to carry you up, but it's obviously a lot faster to do what Shadow did than to wait for the big bubbles to make their way all the way up very slowly. So Shadow, meanwhile, boat skip over here. There's a trigger there where, kind of like Gemini Man, Mello, please. Kind of like Gemini Man and Mega Man 3, where you can slide through the cutscene trigger and just skip the whole thing. You can jump to over the boat and get off screen. And if you do that, this happens. I don't know completely how this works or what's going on here, but Mega Man just doesn't have a hitbox, but he can still shoot buster shots. And that makes this, you know, nice and easy to do this. Mid-boss, oh, we have charge shots now instead of the bike's single lemon cannon, so... Shadow definitely saving maybe a second there, having risked a soft lock to do it, because if you miss the boat from that jump, Mega Man keeps moving to the right, trying to jump into the boat, and there's nothing left there, so... Shadow going for the big show, showing everything off for the fans. We love it. So Shadow here, fighting Wave. Again, charge kick. Sliding right through Wave Man. Getting the kill. Oh, it's really swag to see. We love to see it. So as long as we are between games here, I do want to remind everyone, follow the runners. We can't have these great tournament races without them. Check out the Mega Man leaderboards if you want to see stuff. We'll plug it again later. But you can find the links there for the Mega Man community discords. We'd love to see you. But for now, Shadow's 20 seconds for waiting or up. He's in the Mega Man 6. Bring us home, Windman. Mega Man 6, the added quirk to our physics is we can't jump out of slides anymore at all. Doesn't matter if we're in water or not. If you push A again, it just ends the slide. The Buster got nerfed after Mega Man 5 because even Capcom said, wow, this is way too strong. We can't let this happen. But it's still pretty good. This is no clutch jumps here. We're just going to go through these platforms. So a lot of Mega Man 6 is kind of routed around, you know, how good are your slide cancels? Do you know where to cancel, how to cancel? How are you going to do it? Do you know where you can slide across the whole platform? Windman as a stage is one where weapons don't really help us go faster. Like, they probably technically would. But the boss is weak against a full screen attack with exact ammo, so we can't exactly switch to it early. We're just kind of going through it. So, rather than go to Flame first, because Flame Man's weapon is really, really good, or go to Nightman first, because Game Pro and Dark Teryx told us to, we're going to Windman first. Mello opening up the charge fight with the Buster Shot. You love to see it. That is a strat. Windman, there's really not much to it. Every time you do cancel slide, though, for some reason, it takes 1 frame less to charge the Buster all the way. So you might see the wind dance. You might see somebody jump against the right wall after killing a Robot Master in Mega Man 6 because it reduces lag for reasons. Not even the Tassers know why. It just does. Mello didn't get to see how he executed on those super arrows. Hopefully he nailed them. Of course, Stone Man stage did give him a little bit of a setback there, unfortunately. So Shadow now with 7 robots left into Flame Man stage. So lots of oil pits here in Flame Man stage, and if they get lit on fire, they act as spikes. So, you know, just watch your step. Nice slide canceling there. Always be sliding. It's kind of the rule of NES Mega Man speedrunning if it's not 1 or 2. This enemy at the top here is named Roland. Hi, Roland. Community memes for the crowd. A little bit of a strat there, because again, the intention is that you flip the Roland type enemies into the oil, and they kind of have flotation devices that you can use to traverse the oil pit, which then gets lit on fire, but you can still float. Mello... Did Mello soft lock, or did he just mock a soft lock? Didn't reset yet, so I'm sure he's fine. But, yes, they go across the oil pits very slowly, so we would prefer not to do that. Shadows through. So again, this whole stage was done with Buster, and there's Flame First as an option. The main difference here between the 2 routes at that point become, are you going to fight Flame with Wind, or are you going to fight Wind with Centaur? And it turns out these fire pillars from Flame will block Buster shots, but they don't block the Windstorm. And that makes this fight amazingly easy. Makes it significantly faster to come here with Wind than it is to go to Windman with Buster. Whatever. I've confused myself at this point. We're just going to keep going. Flame Blast, and Rush Power Adapter. What am I looking for? You lose less time fighting Wind with Buster instead of his weakness than you do fighting Flame Man with Buster instead of his weakness, thus the Wind First route. Mello is through to Wave Man, trolling us all jumping across the screen. Shadow making the kind of short jump there. This is, of course, the ice physics stage. Go figure, we're standing on a bunch of ice. So, there's a couple of extra quirks to managing your sliding momentum. He's doing it just fine. I forget the exact mechanics of it, but it basically goes to, do you tap A first, or do you tap the opposite direction first? And if you tap the opposite direction, you can find yourself sliding really fast in the wrong direction. Ugh. Flame Blast, really good weapon. Does like 4 points of damage to everything. We haven't really been talking about game subtitles that don't exist, whereas Mega Man 5 is How I Learned to Love the Super Arrow. Mega Man 6 is Kill It with Flame. It gets a lot of use in the first few robot stages after you get it, just because it is way too strong. Of course, it's also Blizzard Man's weakness, so that's why we are here. Shadow going for Bomb Skip. Bomb Skip either saves maybe a couple of seconds or sends you back to the checkpoint. So he is making the rational choice and ignoring me and just going right through the boss corridor. It's a coin flip whether or not you can even do it. It's all RNG and subpixels. We just like to joke about it. So here's Blizzard. Blizzard likes to roll against the wall. It wastes time. We like the snowflake pattern. It's slightly laggy, but you can actually hit him during it. 7 shots of flame, and it's all over. Blizzard's a really awkward weapon. I don't know what to really say about it. It's kind of there. Mello's fighting Windman. The flower fancier, Plant Man. So Plant's stage opens with a lot of Buster work, ends with a lot of Flame work. There are some platforms at the end in the kind of springy section that can only be opened by Buster shots. And that's where we get to see, are we going to switch back to Buster or are we going to go for it? You always switch to Flame here though, because again, Flame does way too much damage and it just destroys these mid-bosses. 6 hits, it's over. Somewhat precise movement here, just to kind of, again, get as much sliding time as you can in. Don't be hanging in the air too long. One more mid-boss for good measure. Make sure mowing down the first one was not an accident, I guess. And this screen's a mess. We've got some springs. We've got fishes jumping out of the water. And the first jumps... Oh, he jumped on it. Oh, okay. There you go, plant forms. You have some small number of frames to notice that you landed on those platforms and jump off of them if you don't open them. Don't worry about that jump into the cannon. Mega Man 6, for some reason, your knockback just isn't there. It's actually a pretty safe jump to go for. Mello's working his way through Flame Man stage, moving pretty efficiently so far. 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits. We can't yell at Shadow. He got the 6 hit. So if Plant Man goes to run across the screen and Mega Man is standing at his exact X coordinate, Papaptot would say he's not confused. He does exactly what he's supposed to do and runs as far as he can trying to find Mega Man. And during that time, you can just hit him. So the 6-hit cycle, very nice. Obviously, hitting bosses more times faster is gooder. So, good fight. Usually, you can only get 2 hits in a cycle. So getting 6 hits saves a whole bunch of cycles and Plant Man jumping around. So Tomahawk Man as a stage is another Kill It with Flame stage. It's another stage, kind of like Ring Man stage way back in Mega Man 4, where we're using a weapon pretty much the entire stage and using almost all of the ammo of it, if not all of the ammo. Flame Man, if we don't get any ammo drops in Tomahawk Man stage, we should end with 0 ammo left. You can kind of see it. Kill this enemy in 1 hit, kill this enemy in 1 hit, kill this enemy in 1 hit, kill this mid-boss in 4 hits. And in a few of these stages too, like this one, Plant Man, when Mega Man's in the air a lot, it becomes more apparent. The arc going down of the shot is very helpful. So rather than just having, like the normal Mega Buster shots that travel the entire screen in the same Y coordinate, you can just shoot it from high up and it works. Shadow Man opting not to fire the meme shot at Proto Man. On the other side of that wall, holding the energy balancer. There you go. No drops, 0 ammo. Mello's getting a pretty good submarine move here. Is he going to go for it? He's had enough. He's just going to stop there. That's fine. That's still good movement. So Tomahawk Man, weak to the plant shield. Plant barrier was meant to be so much more, is instead a 4 ammo, if very powerful, very expensive shield. Giving you exact ammo for Tomahawk Man, so you gotta be a little careful with it, like we were talking about before with Gyro. See how Blizzard Man treats Mello, going straight into the rolls. I'm getting 2 snowflake patterns in a row, so that's not bad. Alright, so that's that. Good kill. This is Yamato Man. He has a spear in his hand. He's going to throw it at Mega Man. First, we have to actually get there. Shoutouts to Ice Plug. Shadow clearing out these dragonflies. This top route, a little bit faster. We also get to see the Mega Man 5 robot, except you can shoot it in the legs now. Mega Man 6 stages have 4 robots with branching paths in them, and this is one of them. All of the branching paths require a rush adapter to access, so in this case we put on the rush jetpack. It so happens that of the 4 of them, this is the only one that is faster than going the alternate path. The normal path in this stage has a lot of screen transitions, which are less than fast. Going the so-called secret path, we'll just say that, gives you the beat letters so you can actually get beat. But unlike Mega Man 5, beat is awful in Mega Man 6, so we don't really care that we don't get the beat letters, whether it's any percent or 46 robots. Of course, at 100%, you do need to get beat. Here's Yamato Man. He can't do the same thing more than twice in a row, so if you see 2 spear throws, you know the next thing he's going to do is jump. Shadow using that knowledge and just some good reflexes to dodge the next spear throw. Proving once again, Yamato Man just doesn't have it. Mello making that jump there, so he's gonna go for this. Nice. So we got the plant form section. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wait. Okay, he's through. The springs there, and some of these jumps, sometimes you can just get clipped off the edge by subpixels, and it's awful, and there's not much you can do about it other than just kind of waste time and decide to have a slower setup. So I'm glad Mello made it. We'll see if he can get 6 hits while Shadow goes for the spike ceiling setup. Mello got 5 hits but not 6 hits, so everybody feel free to go into Mello's chat and spam the word streamer at him. But 5 hits, still the same number of cycles, so it's still really good. Mello's done with plant. Shadow got past the spike ceiling. Shadow's in Nightman stage. That spike ceiling, obviously it spikes, so going for the fast pattern under it is a little risky, but it saves a whole bunch of time. Switching to Jet again in the middle of the stage for a little bit there, just because there's a lot of verticality, so you get through that much faster. You pretty much need to switch to it immediately, though, to get any time save, given the amount of time it switches to pause. The time it takes to pause and switch. My goodness, I've been talking about Mega Man for an hour and 40 minutes. Excuse me. Yamato's spear has a weird function here, as demonstrated by the Mad Nerd screen. It alternates whether the shot kind of goes up on, let's just say, a 10-degree angle, or goes down on a 10-degree angle, whatever that angle is. So, you have to be a little aware of whether your shots are about to go up or down. It's not a huge difference, but it's a subtle difference in a few spots. Through the bouncy castle, into Nightman. Nightman has a shield, so if you go to Nightman first for some reason, it will blockbuster shots. You have to be a little careful how you aim at him. The shield, doing its piercing damage, goes right through the shield. The spear goes through the shield. I need another drink. Don't worry, we're an hour and 42 minutes into this, and my Pepsi can ran out a while ago. Shadow has 1 robot left, though, so he is about to wrap this up if he can get through Centaur Man stage. Mello's still doing good work here in Mega Man 6. Just had an unfortunate time early on. Does fire the shot at Proto Man. We've met the donation incentive to fight Proto Man, I guess. More inside jokes, but you too can shout them at your screen whenever you see somebody fire that shot. Centaur Man. Alright, we're done. Centaur Man, first screen, kind of buster heavy, and then we just immediately switch to the Night Crusher. This mace, you can fire it up and down, get some directional shots out of it, and it's going to be Centaur Man's weakness. And we have enough to just use it for the whole stage. So we do. This is the water stage of Mega Man 6 as well. So we just get to have some fun here, along with this neat little concept of a screen where the water's on the top. Shadow wants to go over the spikes, but needs the damage boost on the other side. Could have gone and shot all those enemies anyway, because we got the ammo drop. The floating subs here, one mace to knock him out of the clouds, one more to kill him. And nice save through that jump there. I thought that might have thrown him off for a minute, getting the drop. And there's fake Centaur Man's door. Oh, there's real Centaur Man's door. This is fake Centaur Man's door. So we're going to come in here. Centaur Man will only freeze everything and flash the screen if both Mega Man and Centaur Man are not in iframes. It turns out we like having bosses in iframes anyway, because it means we just hit them. So just do that. And so with a race time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 58 seconds, Shadow has blown up 46 Robot Masters and won this race, moving on to the semifinals of the Speedgaming Live tournament with the right to face. And again, I'm going to look back at this because I know he's waiting on one more opponent. Right to face one of Becco Notorious, or Sinan. So we'll make sure I get this right to mark him off as the winner, and we'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. Meanwhile, Mello has made short work of Yamato Man. At least I hope it was short work. Had to click buttons on the side. He's got 2 robots left. That's been about the difference for a lot of the race so far. So he's been holding up his end of the deal otherwise. He's here in Nightman stage. Now I see Shadow potentially on the way here. So Mello through to the spike ceiling. That first jump is a little scary looking, but not that bad, and he is through. Mello's onto the next screen. Shadow's here in the booth. GG, sir. Congrats on the win.
Hello. Thank you.
I'm trying to think back, and I feel like you had a pretty strong run there. Maybe just Airman as the major goof. Maybe I have to apologize for Sparkman later, but that was it. What do you think?
Yeah, the Spark death was very unexpected.
I owe you an apology for that, because I was in the middle of saying how the speedrun strat for that screen is really easy, and you just have to do exactly what Shadow does on that screen, and you proceeded to walk into the pit on us. So it's my fault. You can blame me.
Oh man. But yeah, that screen, you just hold forward, but I don't know, I guess I just panicked and I pressed jump too early or something.
There were a few jumps in this run where I thought you had just gone for it too early, and I was scared. But
yeah.
No, you made it.
Yeah, I was playing kind of shaky, but that Mega Man 6 was really good. So it got better at the end.
Yeah, your 6 was strong. Honestly, a lot of it. I'm sure there's little things here and there, like Charge Man is kind of stuck in my head. But
Yeah.
no, otherwise, you had it. I think Mello kind of tried to keep up the pressure on you, but just had a few too many mistakes in there. Mello's now done with his Nightman fight, jumping against the right-hand wall.
Yeah, now looking back, after 3 was basically like the highlight, because 4 is 18-16 kill, and 5 is 18-15 kill. That's really fast.
Yeah, 18 and 4 is really good. Those low 18s.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like 4 is like my most consistent game. I can like feel like I can always do a very good 4, even if I'm not like warmed up or playing kind of shaky.
Yeah, you had I think the extra cycle and Dust through the Crusher, and then
Yeah.
I think it was you that Dustman decided he was gonna just use the suck pattern a lot, but you were able to take it. So
yeah, it was a good race overall for me.
Mello not quite able to make that jump. Water physics are always a pain. I can't be mad. He's making the miracle jump, so we can't be too mad at him.
Yeah. Actually, there's like a setup for it that makes it way easier. You kind of like stop. There's like a visual cue in the ground. There's like these 2 blocks in the floor, and you basically just, when you slide off the edge, you slow down a little bit so you land on the first block, and that makes the jump. That basically makes it so that when you slide again, you are in a perfect spot to get that jump. That's what I do as well.
I love all the strats in the series that kind of boil down to, if you stand in this spot and then slide, you will be in the exact right position. Like especially in a series where the slide distance changes in like every game, and yet we still have the stand here, slide, and don't do anything, and it's gonna work. Trust me.
Yeah. 6 especially has a lot of these spots where you have to like know where do you want to slide. That's why I find the game really
Mello
fun.
got
That's
the
like
jump on the ladder. Got to shout that out.
Oh yeah, ladder jump, nice.
You're right though, because 6's slide and jump physics are pretty wonky.
Mm-hmm.
So let's watch Mello wrap things up here. He just got into the Centaur fight. No teleport, so Mello's gonna get that time. And 1:51:22. According to race time, Mello is done. So get the GGs out in chat. I'm gonna keep talking with Shadow here, and hopefully Mello in just a moment. But I do want to say, as always, make sure we follow the runners. We can't have these great showcases and great tournaments without them. Thank you, Nate, out there in chat, posting it up there. If you want to follow our runners, maybe you're watching this on YouTube later. It is twitch.tv/shadow, just like it's spelled on the screen, except 1565 on the end. So Shadow 1565. And twitch.tv MelloFlowz. MelloFlowz spelled exactly like it is on the screen. And Mello, welcome to the booth. You can follow me if you can follow me if you really want to at MrCat55. We'll play some Mega Man and talk about how bad the Mets have been this season, but that's another story. And definitely follow Speedgaming as well. Of course, Speedgaming putting on these tournaments and giving us all an opportunity to have some fun, showcase everything for you, the fans. The Speedgaming family of networks also available in many different languages, as it's out there in chat and probably on the channel you're watching this on all the time. So yes, and of course, shout out to the tech crew behind the screens here, doing the cropping, doing the syncing, and just making our lives a lot easier putting on these tournaments. Mello.
Hey, GG Shadow.
Mello, first of all, Mello, also as part of these shout-outs, thank you for helping get us this whole tournament together. I think you're like the organizer for this mess after Speedgaming, of course.
Oh yeah, no problem. My pleasure. My pleasure to have all of you great runners join.
got to get that in here while you're here in the booth for a moment. But I mean, you had a lot of parts strong, and then just a couple of things went wrong for you.
Yeah, there was so many like really silly deaths, and like especially Pharaoh, the two exact same deaths that you rarely ever see in the auto scroller section.
You say rarely, but I've died there more times than I would like to admit. Like, I understand that death 100%. I understand the first death 100%.
I do it differently too. Like everyone does these jumps so they know the exact time when to slide, but I kind of just like eyeball it, which is a mistake, obviously. Also, the death in Spark was really stupid too.
Well, that means we had two stupid deaths in Spark. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I also died in Spark, dude. In the last screen.
But I would agree with you that Pharaoh Man is where the race completely got away from you. Just after that, Shadow kind of established a 2-stage lead and never let go.
Oh yeah, and then I died during the crystal skip setup to the ball falling off the head.
Saw that one.
That's unfortunate because when I was like looking at the stream from time to time, I think the first 3 games were like pretty close. Mega Man 1 was actually like in sync at some point. That was crazy.
Yeah, Mega Man 1 and 2 actually went pretty good for me, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, Mello, I thought like 1 and 3 were actually like really strong for you, just like on paper as games overall too. I do want to shout out, we have a Metroid Dread race coming up here on Speedgaming 4 in a few minutes, so we do have to kind of wrap things up. So Mello, just starting with you, any last thoughts you want to get in here?
No, just thank you for commentating. Thank you, Speedgaming, for hosting us. Good luck to Shadow on the next round. And good luck to everybody, all the remaining contestants. Can't wait to see these races coming up.
Yep, and at Shadow, you get the pleasure of racing either Synan, Natorius out there in chat scouting the competition, or some guy named Becco, who is I will say is an overwhelming favorite to be your opponent.
Yeah. I don't really know what to expect because I don't even know how much he's playing. He doesn't stream right now.
Yeah, but Becco is certainly one of the Mega Man legends. So Shadow, you are one of the up and coming Mega Man legends. As a Rockman and Forte, very low time holder. So you got this.
Definitely.
Just don't die in Spark again.
Shadow's raising the bar for like all of the new runners that joined.
So yeah,
We'll
if you do want to come out here, hear us banter more about Mega Man, do check out the Mega Man leaderboards at megamanleaderboards.net. Do check out our speedrun channel for the old relays. Do keep watching Speed Gaming and follow the rest of this tournament. Join our Discord, say hello. I'm going to get out of the way so that Metroid Dread can get in here because let's face it, Metroid Dread's actually a really fun game. Mello, what's your time in Metroid Dread?
I never beat like the first stage. I rented it from a library.
Shadow, you play Dread at all, or?
I haven't played Dread.
Everybody should go stop playing Mega Man for a day and go play Dread. And otherwise, we will get out of here right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep watching Speed Gaming. Keep contributing to the prize pools and get ready for the rest of Speed Gaming Live. And we will see you next time. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.